What's going on, everyone? So we have in my opinion, a silly report that has came out and is kind of spreading like wildfire, but the original source was Florida Sports Buzz. Damian Lillard is expected to request a trade to the Miami Heat if he gets traded to another team. So what this is saying is that let's say Damian Lillard gets traded to the Brooklyn Nets, right? Or Toronto, right? Toronto seems to be a team that is really ramping up. That if he gets traded to Toronto, he is going to walk into Toronto and say, thanks for trading for me. I want you to trade me to Miami now. That makes zero sense. Because one, that would be terrible for Damian Lillard, who has said like he'll play for anybody. It's caused all this mess. The NBA has gotten involved, all of that stuff, right? This would not be good for Damian Lillard. And two, whenever you see these reports, who does it benefit and where is it coming from? This report is coming from a Florida source, which, I don't know, call me crazy, but might have an interest in the Miami Heat and Damian Lillard on the Miami Heat. And the other thing would be that this would benefit Miami greatly. We've heard all the reports that, Miami's frustrated because the Blazers aren't really communicating well. And there was the report that, hey, Miami's basically daring the Portland Trailblazers to find a better trade for Damian Lillard, right? That they're basically telling them, hey, if you can find something better, go do it. And now we're getting reports that if Dame ends up getting traded elsewhere to Miami, it's clear as day. The idea is to scare off all the other teams, but the Miami Heat. You're hearing reports come in from neutral sources saying other teams are actively trying to trade for Damian Lillard, that they are at least in conversation and trying to potentially acquire Damian Lillard. And one of those teams is the Toronto Raptors that have been reported. And here's the thing about Toronto. We saw this happen with Kawhi Leonard. Ujiri said, hey, go get Kawhi Leonard. Let's try to win a championship. We got 1 year, one shot at it, and it paid off. The difference with Dame is he's under contract for the next few years. So it wouldn't just be one shot, one opportunity. Is it everything that you ever wanted? No. But on a serious note, like it is. It's they would have him for several seasons. And you'd have him, very likely Pascal Siakam and Scotty Barnes. So you essentially have your core three guys, and then you're just putting the pieces to the puzzle the rest of the way. Right? Even if you don't win this year, you don't have major sets this year, you have him locked up long term. You go get Damian Lillard now. You don't have that 1 year pressure like you did with Kawhi. You go get Dame now. Now that you've acquired Damian Lillard, you can put the pieces the following year to now maybe go and be in contention. They would have money. They would have their three guys. They'd have everything that they need to kind of start putting the pieces to the puzzle. And Miami would be crying on the sidelines because they missed out on Damian Lillard. Right? Like, to me, it seems like Miami's kind of playing with fire here a little bit, right? I get you have all these narratives, you have all these conversations. We saw this same thing happen with the Lakers. Kyrie and the Lakers, it's done, it's going to happen, right? No other teams want to trade for him, right? He's telling teams, if you trade for me, I'm going to leave you, I'm going to go to the Lakers. Right? Everything said Kyrie Irving was going to the Lakers. Kyrie's doing interviews and he's in like a Laker t-shirt, sitting courtside. He's like looking at houses and stuff. I mean, it was crazy the amount of just Kyrie to the Laker information that was coming out. Seeing a lot of the same stuff with Damian Lillard. And guess what? Kyrie Irving is not on the Lakers. He is on the Dallas Mavericks. Donovan Mitchell. He is a New York Knick. He's hanging out courtside, looking at houses, talking to buddies about living, working out all the situations so he can go to the Knicks. Knicks are all confident that it's going to happen. Knicks are playing hardball. We don't want to do X, Y, and Z. No, you're crazy. We're not going to give up all that. You have nobody else. We're the only team. He wants to be here. We want him here. No one else wants to trade for him. And guess what? He's a Cleveland Cavalier right now. And maybe he leaves when his contract's up, right? That's a lot of talk that happens. But guess what? Damian Lillard, you'd have him under contract for the next few years. Damian Lillard doesn't seem like the kind of guy that's going to sit out and going to cause a ruckus. I mean, the guy hasn't even done that with Portland. Been a model professional the entire way, right? He wants to do right. He doesn't want to burn the bridges and stuff. Like, you think if Toronto or somebody trades for him, he's going to say, no, sorry, like, I'm not playing for you? And even if he requests a trade to Miami, what happens if Toronto says, no, we just traded for you? You're crazy. It's not happening. Is Damian Lillard going to sit out and lose out on a salary and get fined? And with the new rules that were just voted in about, stars resting and all, is he really, that's really what he's going to do? I don't buy that for a second. I don't see for a second Damian Lillard actually doing that. Would he be happy about being in Toronto or somewhere else? Maybe not. He wants to be in Miami. I mean, that's clear. No, there isn't anybody that thinks he doesn't want to be in Miami. He's made it very clear. His agents made it very clear. The entire world knows. The aliens chilling on Mars know Damian Lillard wants to be a Miami Heat. But that doesn't mean that if another team goes and trades for him, that he's not going to play for them. I mean, again, Donovan Mitchell last year wanted to be a New York Knick, thought he was headed to the Knicks, thought everything was done, and he ends up getting traded to the Cavs. And what happened? He played, he showed up, he balled out. Had a 71-point game or something like that? Like, the dude was absolutely just killing it. Guy was doing everything. Like, it's just, I see Damian Lillard doing the exact same thing Donovan Mitchell did. Where Donovan Mitchell just showed up, played basketball, and when his contract's up, he'll figure it out. Damian Lillard's very likely going to do the exact same thing. He's going to show up, he's going to ball out, and then when his contract's up, he'll figure it all out. And Miami, I'm telling you, Miami really feels like they're playing with fire, right? These reports are not good. Again, it greatly benefits Miami. But does anyone really believe that that's true? Damian Lillard is going to go get traded to another team. Damian Lillard is going to get traded to Toronto, and Toronto's going to tell him, hey, sorry, we ain't trading you. And then what? What is he going to do? He's going to pout and scream and sabotage. No, it's not his character. It's not who he is. He's built his whole brand on being that guy. He was just in an interview talking about how I'd never be that KD guy. I'm not going to go to these super teams. I'm not going to be that guy. I'm loyal. I'm this. He's built an entire brand off of just being loyal and a professional and committed. I get Bam is his guy. Miami makes a world of sense for Damian Lillard because everything that Dame is not good at, all of Miami players are good at, especially Bam and Jimmy. And then everything that Jimmy and Bam aren't good at, Damian Lillard is great at. It's a match made in heaven, without a doubt. But Damian Lillard isn't going to ruin his image and his career to try to go and it doesn't make any sense to me. It doesn't. Miami needs to figure this out and get this done. If the reports are true that the Hornets are willing to take Tyler Hero, they need to figure that out. I expect this trade to be done in the next week or so. Because training camp, we're 2.5 weeks away from training camp. I don't see this dragging out into training camp. If it does, I think Portland just keeps him this year. Because at that point, why even trade for him? Unless the team just becomes so desperate that they just offer you the stars and the moon to go and get Dame. But Dame's not getting a Rudy Gobert type package. It's not going to happen. I just don't see it. One, Miami doesn't have anything close to that. And two, even Toronto, what team is trading the farm to go get Damian Lillard, an aging, injury-prone, undersized defensive liability guard who, don't get me wrong, is great. He's one of the best shooters in the entire league. The dude is an absolute bucket. He's a guy that can go get you 30-plus a game. But he has his flaws. And his last 2 years of his deal, he's making $60 million a year. Not collectively. So he's taking up half your salary cap. What team is going to be willing to do that outside of Miami. And on top of that, be able to go and trade for him, but also have the pieces and the stability and the finances and everything to actually be a contender and potentially try to win with him. There's very few teams, if any. Toronto could probably make something like that work because they could trade like OG Anunoby and, Gary Trent Jr. or something like that, and then throw in whatever, right? Throw in some firsts and stuff, right? Go get Dame. And like I said, you got Scotty Barnes, Pascal Siakam, Damian Lillard, and then you go make that push to go get a couple other guys next offseason before like everything really shoots up. And Toronto could be in a pretty good position for that. But outside of that, it's like, who? Like Oklahoma City? But I don't know if that makes sense for them to go and trade for Dame. The Jazz, the Spurs, again, I don't see either of those teams making sense and actually making a play for Dame. Like, what contender that he could go to that would make sense for him and that would keep him happy is going to actually give up the assets and still remain a contender? I don't see it. I think these reports that are coming out are just pure smokescreen, and it's to stir up just drama so the Miami Heat could try to gain a little bit more leverage. That's what I make this out to be. But anyway, as always, this is a discussion, so I pass the question on you. Let me know your thoughts and opinions down in the comments below. Do you agree with me? Disagree with me? Do you think, it makes sense? Miami's trying to kind of fan the fire here a little bit. How do you feel? Let me know down in the comments.